The movie opens with a transmission of television static sounds. The image then switched to a mother listening to a tune on her car's radio. Remarkably, the mom got out of the car and left her kid there without any concern. In the midst of the railroad, she purposefully stopped her car and left her son to perish. In the following scenario, we see Carly, a girl, on the phone with her lover Damon. Josh, Carly's younger brother, entered the room shortly after and teased her. The father, Brent, and the mother, Kendall, of Carly and Josh, will be the main subjects of our attention in this movie. Their city is a secure and pleasant place to live, with parents constantly walking their kids around. Carly's family always gathers and has breakfast together in the morning at her home. In addition, they have a maid named Sun Yi and Lisa, the maid's daughter. Carly's parents saw a news report about an automobile that had been struck by a train while they were having breakfast. Carly requested for permission to bring her boyfriend home tonight instead of being upset by the news. Her grandparents would also be visiting tonight, according to her parents, who disagreed. However, since Carly is still only 17, she was also denied permission to date. Her mother then gave her a ride to school. Carly neglected her mother along the way and spent all of her time on her own cell phone. Carly's mother believed that Carly had always been indulging her own mother and had never shown gratitude for her presence. It's clear from this that Carly and her mother don't get along well. Carly's mother also informed her that she would be going to the hospital to see her sister, who was going to give birth after this. Carly, though, could not have cared less where her mother was headed. After that, Josh, who was still not enrolled in school, lived at home all day. Josh is shown in this movie to be a hyperactive and obstinate youngster. His own father's skull was struck with a ball till it buzzed due to his stubbornness. Still, Josh's father was understanding and open to jokes. His father was then prepared to resume his regular workday. The action shifts to a classroom where Riley, a girl, is seen. Riley, Carly's classmate, is a terrible girl. After that, the scene returned to Carly's home. Only Sun Yi, Josh, and Lisa, Sun Yi's child, reside in the home. Josh, the mischievous one, is limited to playing planes while pacing. Riley's mother was spending time with Carly's mother concurrently. Riley's mother said that Riley had informed her that Carly had been using Kendall's money covertly and without authorization. Kendall was ashamed to hear this, but she stood up for Carly because she was her daughter. However, Riley's mother incites Kendall to become irate. Even though their kids were in the same class, the two moms were still chatting as their kids studied. Just as the instructor in his class was occupied instructing the students, the classroom phone rang. Then, the parents of one of the pupils in the class called on him to leave the room. Shortly afterward, the phone rang once more. Numerous police cars were also making their way to their school from outside the classroom. One of the pupils was also instructed to leave the classroom after that call. Didn't know what had transpired, and the instructor was in the dark as well. However, Damon, who was completing his tests on campus, noticed that many parents were lined up at the door, despite the fact that there was still an hour remaining in the exam period. Honestly, I find it hard to believe that something like this could ever occur. After class, Carly and Riley noticed that every student was occupied with getting out of the building. All of them received calls from their parents, so they left for home. A mother hopped the fence outside the school and was taken into custody by the authorities. But as it happened, a throng of parents had occupied the entire school gate. Simultaneously, Damon completed his exam and left the classroom after gathering his answer sheets. Rather than watching Damon go, the parents entered the classroom together. In addition, things at school are becoming bizarre and out of hand. All parents appeared to be calling their own children in a panic, even though there was no earthquake or tsunami. Many police officers were stationed at the school gate to prevent more chaos. Subsequently, a mother addressed her son. Instead, the innocent child climbed over the fence and hurried to his mother. When the teacher noticed the youngster running, she quickly restrained him. The youngster preferred to exit through the school gate, so even the instructor and the cops detaining him were powerless to help him. Consequently, the boy's mother stabbed him with a car key. The parents were able to enter the school as things became even more chaotic. All of the students bolted out of there right quickly, only to find themselves being pursued by their parents instead than zombies. A few of the kidnapped children were promptly murdered in different ways. In addition, the school police are making every effort to keep the kids safe. Fortunately, Carly and Riley's parents chose not to attend the school, so they continued running. Then, after finishing his tests, Damon is heading back to his home. As soon as he got there, he entered the home and noticed his father seated in the chair. Even though his house appears disorganized, Damon cleans it right away. Turned out that his father had left the couch when he was done bringing out the trash. His father was watching TV, when all of a sudden there was only static noise. His father abruptly and without cause struck Damon from behind. His father immediately grabbed the glass bottle after appearing stunned. To make it sharper, his father had also broken the bottle. Damon's reaction to his father's actions was limited to silence and confusion. After then, Damon's father beat his kid till his hand hurt. Immediately sensing something off, Damon tries to stay away from his father. As his father, who was pursuing Damon, fell, the shard pierced his own neck. Damon faced resistance despite his desire to assist his father. Conversely, Carly's mother, who had been spending time with Riley's mother, was sobbing quietly inside the vehicle. She thought back to her daughter's actions, who often put herself in a negative light. Despite her defense of her daughter, she became the talk of the town. Shortly afterward, Kendall received a call from her sister, who was on the verge of giving birth. The two who had left school, Carly and Riley, also intended to stay at Riley's residence. Riley's lifestyle suggests that she is a drug-addled young woman. Carly watches television to learn more about what's going on while she waits for Riley to take the drugs. According to television news, this phenomena happened in large quantities, and its cause is yet unknown. Riley's mother, on the other hand, had a picture of the two of them waiting for Riley in his room. Why Riley had spent so much time in her room baffled Carly, who was downstairs. Upon ascending, she discovered Riley had been murdered by his own mother. To cut a long tale short, Carly's mom had reached the hospital. She was interested in what was being reported on TV when she got to the hospital. According to the most recent reports, this occurrence most likely happened as a result of a group of people who intentionally created biological weapons or neurotoxins, which can target brain impulses in humans. Parents who always love, protect, and care for their children will experience a change in instinct as a result of this neurotoxic. Put another way, the neurotoxic has the power to cause parents' innate tendencies to become hateful and motivated to murder their own children. Subsequently, Carly's mother promptly accompanied her sister, who was on the verge of giving birth. You can clearly see how difficult childbirth is for mothers in this instance. Finally, after such a protracted battle, a baby was spotted, and his mother carried him right away. However, all of a sudden, the room's monitor screen began to transmit static sounds as well. The mother of the child, who had been content before, had abruptly turned violent without giving any explanation. She gave the infant a firm embrace on purpose, making it difficult for the child to breathe. When Carly's mother saw this, she took the baby from her sister right away. The attending physicians also assisted Kendall in getting the baby back, but the mother of the child grabbed a cutter and attempted to stab the child. Eventually, Carly's mother was allowed to take the child. Still, the mother of the infant persisted in her attempts to murder her. Scene back to Carly, who made the decision to flee Riley's residence after realizing her friend was dead. She watched a father using a baseball bat to finish killing his son from a distance. Fortunately, Damon unexpectedly came from behind Carly, who was terrified to see her father. Subsequently, Damon and Carly intend to rescue Josh, who remains at home. The image then shifts to Carly's father, who appears to be quite exhausted and is still in the office. His wife called him as well, but he chose to ignore it. The workplace TV abruptly switched to a static noise feed at that point, and Carly's father yelled. Carly's mother was perplexed as to why he didn't even answer when she was still in the hospital. A nurse reported shortly after that her sister had been drugged and was no longer able to act violently. The infant was asked to be brought back to the hospital by the nurse. However, Carly's mother persisted in saying no, wanting to retain the child. Ultimately, though, she turned the child over to the hospital. The fact that parents are always staring at their infants adds to the eerie atmosphere in the baby's room. Looked at them with the intention of killing their own child rather than out of happiness. Sunyi was at home at that moment, so Carly's mother called her right away. "Is everything well?" she queries. Sunyi, however, stated that everything is all right. Mother of Carly was concerned that her husband might arrive at the house before her. She would therefore immediately head home. Sunyi's parked automobile was the only thing Damon and Carly, who were already in front of the home, saw. Sunyi was observed cleaning the kitchen floor when they came in. Sunyi didn't understand why Carly left school so early. She continued by saying that she would make Carly lunch, but Carly wasn't about to mince words, so she inquired where Josh was right away. When Sunyi hears this, he tells that Josh is in his room. Carly was shocked to see the mop that Sunyi had squeezed out was immediately coated in blood. It's obvious that Sunyi killed Lisa, her own kid, in this kitchen. Sunyi got chased out of the house by Carly, who was terrified of her. Carly instantly ran upstairs to greet Josh, her younger brother. At that point, Josh claimed that he fled after witnessing Sunyi kill Lisa. Before their parents returned, Carly politely requested that she and her younger brother leave the house together. Upon seeing him in the house, Carly's father arrived, surprising Damon, who was downstairs. Carly's dad was furious, and you could hear his cries from above. Josh displays himself to his father raucously during a fight between Damon and Carly's father. His father started chasing after them, both right away, but Damon stopped him right away. Then, Carly's father struck Damon immediately. Carly and Josh could only flee from their father's pursuit at the moment. Luckily, a toy vehicle caused their father to trip and fall, landing in the kitchen. Without thinking, Carly and Josh went to hide in the basement and locked the door. Their mother was still traveling home at the time. Because everything was so disorganized, a mother on the side of the road purposefully shoved her toddler into the center of the road. Fortunately, Carly's mother avoided hitting the infant's trolley. To put it briefly, when Carly's mother arrived at the house and discovered her husband lying down, she woke him up right away after he had fainted. Carly's mother changed from this point on and appeared to be in a daze. In the end, the two parents collaborate to murder their kid. Carly and Josh are in the basement, and her mother is trying to get them to come out. Carly said he was sorry to his mother for taking her money at that very moment. Her mother told her it was alright, and asked that the two of them leave the room. Carly, on the other hand, refused to, telling her mother to leave the house. Their father was furious and yelled at them after hearing that. Then Carly's mom grabbed the knife and drill right away. His mother's drill broke even trying to drive home the door's strength. In addition, his father plans to confiscate the rifle he stored under the bed, but it looked like the rifle was missing. Carly's mother let out a scream at that very time. It turned out that Josh had taken his father's rifle in secret. A bullet that entered through the door also hurt Carly's mother's arm. Josh's father didn't understand why he was carrying a gun. Upon further consideration, it was discovered that Josh's birthday was the suitcase's PIN code. Yes, as I mentioned at the outset, Josh, who is obstinate, does assist with this movie as well. Carly and Josh were confined to the basement to wait while her mother's arm wound was being attended to. Their parents had come up with a fresh, better scheme. They attempted to restrict the two kids' airways by sending gas into the basement. A foul stench emanated from the garbage can as his mother was removing the gas hose. Upon closer inspection, it becomes evident that the contents of the garbage bin are Lisa's decomposing body. She plugged the hose into the basement air vent innocently. Carly's father then turned on the gas faucet. His own mother had plugged every opening in the door. Inside, Carly was perplexed about what her parents were actually up to. Curiosity prompted Carly to reach out and feel the opening in the door. When her mother saw Carly's finger, she quickly used a knife to stab the hole. Her parents were only waiting for their sons screaming at the door. In essence, they wished to let their two kids pass away gradually. They waited till dusk time and time again. Josh, who was unable to handle the gas, appeared out of breath and pale right away. Carly experienced a similar reaction, where her face turned pale, and she found it hard to breathe. Carly then discovered a vent that would allow them to leave the space. With the matches he discovered in the room, she set a trap before running away. Carly set up the trap such that the match would instantly rub against the gas in the room, and explode as her parents opened the door. When they were finished, they hurried over to the vent and let out their loudest cough. Fortunately, though, Damon arrived and struck Carly's mother with a hoe right away, causing her to pass out. Then, in the basement, their own kids had bound their parents. Carly continues to refuse to let them go despite their pleas. Considering that she is aware that their mother and father have changed, their parents became enraged like real sadists all of a sudden. When Carly and Josh witnessed their parents' actions, they were only able to cry. They are sorry for not showing their parents any respect in the past. The mother declared that her two children were the most precious things in the world to her. Then their father mentioned something that made them consider killing their child on occasion. In essence, this video demonstrates how, when it comes to raising their kids, parents can be at their worst, where they have to constantly stay away from anything that could jeopardize their own children's lives. Carly's father's final statement implied that, despite their true disinclination, parents occasionally entertain such notions. The source of the epidemic is unknown, but I assume that sound waves from the static noise television program are to blame for the occurrence.